Syrian Arab army targets terrorist hideouts in Aleppo countryside, killing a number of armed men. Iraqi troops tighten control in 97 districts and neighborhoods in Salah. Iran affirms that the response to any Zionist American attack will be comprehensive and destructive. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our news for today. In Aleppo countryside, the Syrian Arab army has destroyed heavy machine gun-provided vehicles and killed a number of terrorists in Khan Touman, Shwehne and Sheikh Lutfi in the governorate's suburb. Sheikh Lutfi witnessed a new massacre perpetrated by the takfiri groups and Erdogan's regime. The Lebanese As-Safir daily quotes an opposition source as saying that 50 corpses have been buried by masked men. The corpses had their weapons opened and their inner organs removed. He affirmed that the bodies have been moved from Turkey in new evidence that they belonged to people whose organs had been stolen in Turkish hospitals before the bodies were burned and buried away from Turkey inside Syrian territories. In Daraa suburbs, several armed men have been killed or wounded in Kafar Nasaj and Tel Hamid. In Homs countryside, Syrian Arab Army unit has thwarted an armed attack by ISIL terrorists which targeted Al-Muhar gas station, eliminating some of them and destroying their vehicles. Others fled into the desert, leaving their weapons and ammunition. In Idleb suburbs, several terrorists have been killed or wounded in Broma farms, Al-Bashiriyeh and Abu Duhur. Welcome back. The Lebanese army has shelled takfiri terrorist groups in Ersal and Wadi Hmayyad, leaving many of them dead or wounded. Clashes with heavy artillery and missiles erupted in several areas. Many of the armed men have been killed or injured. The Lebanese army had earlier thwarted an attempt by terrorists to infiltrate from their caves towards Ras Ba'labak prairies, hitting their moves and gatherings with heavy artillery in the area's prairies. Iraqi troops took full control of a number of districts and towns in Salah province during a military operation which began several days ago, killing scores of terrorists. A security source said that the Iraqi army laid a siege on several neighborhoods east of Tikrit, seeking to liberate it from ISIL terrorists. Meanwhile, in Al-Anbar province, 36 ISIL gunmen were killed during clashes with Iraqi troops, which also destroyed 2 armored vehicles and dismantled 30 explosive devices. The Libyan army foiled an attack launched by terrorists near Benghazi Harbour and captured dozens of ISIL terrorists. 2 Libyan Navy officers were killed following a suicide attack this morning near the harbour. A military source stressed that one of Ansar al-Sharia leaders was wounded near Al-Laythi axis. Meanwhile, Libyan security troops foiled an attack by a booby-trapped car near Al-Khalij highway in Benghazi. As part of the military operation conducted by the Tunisian army along the borders with Algeria, a military source announced that 2 terrorists were killed during clashes with the army in Ash-Shambi mountains and Al-Qasrain area. The Tunisian army had been fighting these terrorist groups over the last couple of months, killing a number of them and capturing dozens who were planning to travel to Syria to join terrorist groups there. In occupied Palestine, Israeli occupation troops broke into the city of Jenin, north of the West Bank. Palestinian sources pointed out that 5 Israeli armored vehicles entered the city and erected barricades at the main entrance of the refugee camp. The occupation troops arrested a number of Palestinian citizens in different parts of the West Bank. In Gaza Strip, Israeli warships opened fire at Palestinian fishermen in a Sudania area, leaving damages to a number of boats and forcing fishermen to flee the area. Finally, head of the Iranian Shura Council, Ali Larijani, stressed that any military attack by the Zionist state or the U.S. will be met with a powerful and comprehensive response by Iran. Larijani pointed out that Netanyahu's speech before the American Congress was nothing but a political jargon, reflecting a pathetic fact about the Zionist influence on the U.S. policy makers, adding that the Israeli accusations regarding terrorism can only prove how deep the Zionist state is involved in terrorism, being itself founded on assassinations and killings. He made it clear that Israel's worries about Iran's peaceful nuclear program was meant to cover up for its arsenal of nuclear weapons, which exceed more than 200 nuclear warheads. He concluded by saying that Iran will never conduct negotiations under U.S. pressures. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region, and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Serena, but after a short break.